Pacific halibut, Hippoglossus stenolopus, are among the largest of the flatfishes, the biggest reported reaching 8 feet in length and well over 500 pounds. Halibut are born swimming like salmon, with eyes on either side of their head, but one eye migrates to the right side as they grow and the little halibut begin swimming sideways, with both eyes on the upper body, almost always their right side, by the time they are 6 months old. How cool is that? Halibut eat a variety of fish, as well as octopus, crab, and shrimp. Occasionally halibut are known to leave the bottom of the ocean and feed on higher swimming fish, such as salmon and herring. Pacific halibut are managed through an international treaty between Canada and the United States. This treaty identifies the International Pacific Halibut Commission, IPHC, as the agency responsible for conserving the halibut stock. The IPHC conducts annual stock assessment surveys to determine abundance and sets catch limits for the fisheries that target halibut.
What's that?
The North Pacific Fishery Management Council, NPFMC, is responsible for allocating halibut between Alaska user groups and manages the trawl fisheries that take halibut as bycatch, while the National Marine Fisheries Service, NMFS, develops and enforces regulations in U.S. waters. In sum, halibut management is complicated. Alaska's commercial halibut fishery is managed with an individual fishing quota or IFQ system. IFQs allocate a percentage of the total allowable catch to individual fishermen. To enter the fisheries or increase catch, a fisherman has to buy IFQs from another fisherman. IFQs allow halibut to be commercially harvested over a 9-month season, which allows Americans to enjoy fresh halibut most of the year. The abundance of halibut in the North Pacific Ocean and Bering Sea has dropped significantly over the past decade, as has the growth rate of halibut. To conserve and rebuild stocks, the IPHC has reduced commercial catch limits accordingly. Because the IPHC cannot control halibut bycatch and the NPFMC has not taken meaningful action to reduce bycatch, the rate of bycatch has actually increased as halibut stocks have decreased. This has resulted in a bizarre situation where 7 times as many halibut were killed and wasted as bycatch in the Bering Sea during 2014 than were taken in the directed halibut fishery. Because the Bering Sea serves as the nursery grounds for halibut that migrate as they get older to the Gulf of Alaska and beyond, this bycatch is primarily composed of juvenile fish. The 5 million pounds of juvenile halibut killed each year in the Bering Sea trawl fisheries threatens the future of the halibut resource. Bycatch also threatens the viability of Alaska's coastal communities that depend on halibut fishing. This past June, Alpha and allies from across Alaska advocated for the North Pacific Fishery Management Council to reduce halibut bycatch in the Bering Sea by 50%. Instead, the council reduced trawl bycatch by only 12% but committed to taking additional steps to reduce bycatch in the future. Alpha is working hard to hold the council to this commitment. We believe a new model for halibut management is needed, one that accurately captures the effect of halibut bycatch on the future of the halibut stock. We are working with other halibut groups to support new work by DRs. Martel, IPHC, Reimer and Carruthers, University of Alaska, that would develop abundance-based approaches to halibut and halibut bycatch management, including a mortality per recruit (MPR) approach proposed by Dr. Martel, which would reduce harvest rates across all sectors during times of low halibut abundance. Spring, April to June. Spring is an excellent time for halibut fishing because the fish move closer to the shallower waters feeding. Summer, July to August. Summer also offers good halibut fishing opportunities, especially in regions like Alaska. Halibut swims at various depths, and the weather is generally favorable for fishing. Fall, September to October. Fall is the prime halibut fishing season, as the fish are actively feeding and preparing for winter, making them more likely to bite. Winter, November to March. Winter months may still offer halibut fishing opportunities in certain regions, especially for those targeting Pacific halibut. However, the colder weather and rougher seas can make fishing more challenging. Always research specific locations and consult with local guides or fishing charters for the most up-to-date and region-specific information regarding the best times to fish for halibut. Consider weather and sea conditions for a safer halibut fishing expedition. Halibut fishing is subject to specific regulations and licensing requirements to ensure accurate, sustainable seafood guides and maintain healthy populations. Regulations vary by location, so anglers must be well informed about the specific rules governing the region they plan to fish in. Catch limits and size restrictions. Regulations stipulate the number of halibut an angler can catch per day or trip and their size restrictions. Catch limits prevent overfishing and allow smaller halibut to grow to a reproductive age. Sustainable fishing doesn't jeopardize ecosystems or fish stocks. Seasonal closures. Seasonal closures protect halibut during critical times, such as their spawning seasons. Quotas and allocation. Commercial and recreational fisheries have overall catch quotas and allocation limits to manage halibut harvesting, ensuring sustainable practices for both sectors. Gear and equipment restrictions. Gear regulations minimize bycatch and environmental impact. For instance, some areas prohibit using certain hook types to reduce the chances of incidental catches. Fishing licenses. Anglers need a valid fishing license from the relevant governing body, state, province, or country, to participate in halibut fishing legally. The license fees contribute to conservation efforts and resource management. Halibut tagging or reporting. Some regions require anglers to obtain halibut tags or report their catches accurately for data gathering and fishery management. Guided fishing and charter licensing. Licenses and permits ensure that they meet safety and operational standards. Tribal or indigenous fishing rights. In some areas, there are provisions for tribal or indigenous communities to engage in halibut fishing based on traditional or treaty rights. Compliance with these regulations and licensing requirements is essential for sustainable fishing practices and the long-term health of halibut populations. Anglers should familiarize themselves with the rules applicable to their chosen fishing location and adhere to them diligently. Mastering halibut fishing requires skill, knowledge, and strategic approaches. Here are some tips to enhance your halibut fishing experience and increase your chances of a successful catch. Research and prepare. Familiarize yourself with the area you plan to fish, studying maps, currents, and habitats. Understand the regulations and obtain the necessary licenses beforehand. Use fresh bait. Opt for fresh and high-quality bait such as herring, salmon belly, octopus, or squid. Fresh bait appeals more to halibut and can significantly increase your success rate. Vary your bait and lures. Experiment with different bait types, sizes, and colors. Similarly, try different lures and jigging techniques to find what works best. Fish at different depths. Halibut swims at various depths, so try fishing at different levels in the water column. Adjust your sinker weight and fishing technique accordingly to target different depths effectively. Pay attention to tides and currents. Halibut are more active during tidal changes. Fish during slack tides when the currents are less aggressive, making maintaining bait at the desired depth easier. Anchor strategically. When bottom fishing, anchor the boat up current from the desired fishing spot to present your bait effectively in the halibut's feeding path. Remember, successful halibut fishing comes with practice, experience, and a willingness to adapt your techniques based on the conditions. Effective techniques include bottom fishing with heavy tackle, trolling with bait or lure at varying depths, and jigging vertically with specialized weighted lures. Drift fishing allows covering a wide area while anchoring strategically near halibut habitats optimizes bottom presentations. Harpooning can be effective for surface hunt. Filleting an Alaska halibut is a pretty straightforward affair. If you've properly bled your catch at sea, and kept it well iced, the fish should be firm and ready for a knife by the time you hit shore. In the ports of Homer and Seward, community fish cleaning tables, with running water, are located just up from the small boat harbor at the main ramps. If you haven't performed the task before, look for a local to hire who will cut your fish in minutes for a few bucks, rather than see you butcher a perfectly innocent creature over the course of an hour. After watching, you'll have learned a thing or two, and given a sharp knife you can probably do some damage to these simple to clean fish. God help make halibut easier to clean than most fish, by putting a dotted line down the center of each side, the dark side most likely representing you know what, and the light side, well, the goodness and purity of his oceans, I'm sure. Follow his dotted line with your knife, pressing in deep enough to use the backbones as a guide as you move from the head end to the tail. After making this long cut, choose one half of side number 1 or the other and begin to cut down against the bones as you proceed again from the head end toward the tail, with long smooth strokes of the knife producing the best results. After one half of side number 1 is cut along the bones all the way to the fins, simply make a cut along the edge of the fish to release the fillet from the carcass. Repeat the same process on the other half of this side, working around the stomach and innards delicately so as to expose little to none of the nasties inside, especially the green and yellow yuck. When both fillets on side number 1 have been released from the carcass, simply turn the fish over and repeat the same, starting along the dotted line again, until you end up with 4 nice fillets. Rinse the fillets free of as much of the slime, grey gunk, and debris as you can, though you may need to give it a final quick rinse at home before you pack it for freezing. Now for the skin. No matter what anyone, young or old, native or newbie tells you, do not, I repeat, do not leave the skin on this fish. Remove it immediately, by whatever means necessary, or your once beautiful, clean fillets will be covered in slime before you can say, slimy suckers slipped somebody a shiny, slippery sack of slime. Halibut slime is about the worst of all fish slimes, and the stench found on anything you haven't cleaned by the next day is enough to make you heave-ho. How to remove the skin easiest, you ask? Why, with a sharp knife, of course. It's pretty easy actually, once you get the hang of it. Having an insulated rubber glove helps too, for gripping the slimy skin, and for you some protection from the pointy, sharp thing too.
So the first thing I'm going to show you is when you take the collar off, don't just chop through the knife like that.
Two methods are common. Either grip the tail end of the fillet firmly, by cutting a notch if necessary, and sliding the fillet knife down at an angle pressing toward the skin and the cleaning table as you slide it down the fillet, leaving little to no meat on the skin. Or, make an angled cut through the center of the fillet, and work in opposite directions toward the tail and toward the belly, in the same sliding, angled manner, removing the skin from one half of the fillet at a time.
So what we learned to do is cut through the bone.
The latter proves a little more efficient on bigger fish, while the former works fine for the little chickens, as we call them. Savor the bold and spicy flavors of this fast and spicy wild Alaskan halibut recipe. This quick and easy recipe features wild halibut seasoned with paprika, oregano, thyme, and cayenne pepper, grilled or broiled to perfection.
And then the next thing is there's like a little line of bones here. Yep. What you don't want to do.
Enjoy a delightful blend of spices and buttery goodness, creating a nutrient-rich dish rich in protein and omega-3 fatty acids. Elevate your dinner with this easy-to-make, flavorful seafood favorite. Fast and spicy wild Alaskan halibut boasts a distinctive Alaskan origin, sourced from the pristine waters of Alaska known for premium seafood.
Tail, one down. One hand? Yeah. Proportions. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do the tail. Instead of going like that, we're just going to end up with a really skinny fillet. So I'm going to just take the tail.
What sets this dish apart is its captivating flavor profile, achieved through a harmonious blend of paprika, oregano, thyme, onion and garlic powder, black pepper, salt, and a dash of cayenne pepper. The recipe offers versatility in cooking methods, whether it's broiling or grilling, ensuring a consistently delicious outcome.
Yeah, see, well, easier to fillet, but also you end up with a nice big fillet in the tail instead of two. If I did it like that, you end up with
Noteworthy is the convenience factor, as the recipe guides cooking both frozen and fresh halibut, promising a delectable meal without sacrificing taste or texture. Additionally, this halibut dish is a nutritional powerhouse, delivering a substantial dose of omega-3 fatty acids, complemented by essential nutrients such as protein, fiber, and calcium.
kids, we recommend the tail first.
But I'm thinking even down here there's no bone, where there is a line of bones that goes to somewhere here.
With a quick cooking time of just 13 minutes for frozen or 8 minutes for fresh halibut, this dish is a time-saving delight. The culinary adventure doesn't end there. The leftover spice mixture can be stored in a jar for future use, adding an instant flavor boost to various dishes. Beyond its culinary appeal,